The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story, just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Andrew Burnap, great dude. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, babe.
Rachel Zegler just can't seem to escape the chaos. At this point, her biggest enemy might be herself. After the catastrophic flop of Snow White, whispers from the set have turned into full-blown rumors, with even her co-star Andrew Burnap allegedly pointing fingers. But the drama didn't stop with bad box office numbers. Oh no, this is just where the real story begins. Zegler's public missteps, from awkward interviews to political controversies, have made her a magnet for backlash. She called her on-screen prince a stalker, took jabs at the original Disney classic, and even ignited tensions with co-star Gal Gadot after posting a pro-Palestine tweet during the film's press tour, despite Gal's known service in the Israeli Defense Forces. Behind the scenes, executives were furious. Producers flew across the country just to calm things down. But as the fan outrage snowballed, so did the consequences. Threats against cast members, empty theaters, and boycott campaigns spiraled into a nightmare PR storm. And it didn't help when Zegler doubled down, going on a political tirade against Trump supporters, alienating a massive chunk of Disney's audience.
I think this girl does not deserve a feature-length film.
You want to trash that legacy? That company that now Disney has screwed up the last 5 years trying to please a small percentage of minorities in America? Yeah, we're sick of it. So the more you do this, Disney, Zegler, whatever her name is, yes, this is exactly the backlash you're going to get from parents who have kids who are your customers. You're supposed to win parents over. You're talking to kids, the parents pay for the tickets. You have to be a dummy as a marketer. If I'm Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years, and guess what? Pay her a couple $1 million, go away. We're gonna bring another person to play this role because you just screwed this thing up.
From awkward silence on red carpets to unspoken tension between co-stars, the production became more drama-filled than the movie itself. With Disney reportedly cutting ties and Zegler issuing multiple damage control apologies, insiders say her future in Hollywood is now uncertain. Has Rachel Zegler burned too many bridges? Or is this just a brutal chapter in her redemption arc? Please like this video, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for daily updates from Celebrity What If. The fallout from Snow White was nothing short of catastrophic. What was once hailed as Disney's next big live-action success turned into an unmitigated box office disaster, scraping together a humiliating $87 million worldwide, nowhere near the $270 million it reportedly cost to make. Theaters were empty, fan screenings were canceled due to low interest, and online commentary painted the film as dead on arrival. But the financial loss wasn't even the worst part.
Things just went from bad to worse for Snow White, and it's shaping up to become one of the biggest bombs of all time.
Inside sources say Disney executives were stunned by how quickly public sentiment turned. The movie, designed to be a modern, empowering reimagining of a beloved classic, ended up alienating longtime fans who felt insulted, not inspired. Critics blasted the tone-deaf messaging, audiences roasted the dialogue, and social media exploded with "I told you so" energy. Disney had hoped for a cultural milestone, but instead, they got a cautionary tale in real time. As the dust settled on Disney's biggest box office belly flop in years, one question echoed louder than the rest. Who's really to blame? And if you thought it was going to be a clean answer, think again. Behind closed doors, fingers were pointed in every direction, but one name kept surfacing at the center of it all: Rachel Zegler. Once hailed as the studio's golden girl, Zegler quickly became the scapegoat for everything that went wrong, from the marketing misfires to the fan rebellion that left Snow White in ruins. Sources claim Disney execs were furious over Zegler's now infamous interviews, where she seemed to mock the original 1937 film, dismiss Prince Charming, and describe Snow White as a woman who doesn't need a man. While these soundbites may have played well in a certain corner of the internet, they alienated the film's core audience: families, nostalgic fans, and international markets that still revere Disney's classic storytelling. And the fallout was swift. The minute those clips hit social media, the backlash was unstoppable.
The Snow White remake is now one of the lowest rated films in IMDb history. This is such a poor reception for a Disney princess movie, and I'll be surprised if it even has a 1-star tomorrow because the bad reviews keep pouring in by the second.
But Zegler wasn't the only one catching heat. Critics also pointed fingers at Disney's executive team for doubling down on what many saw as a tone-deaf modern remake. Longtime fans asked, who exactly was this movie for? Insiders say there were growing tensions between creatives and corporate, especially when early audience feedback came in lukewarm, and executives still insisted on pushing a narrative-first strategy over character or charm. Meanwhile, rumors began swirling about behind-the-scenes drama with her co-stars. One particularly juicy claim, that even Ansu Kabiya, cast as the new Huntsman figure, allegedly clashed with Zegler off-camera and wanted to distance himself from the project. Though unconfirmed, the gossip only added fuel to the firestorm, painting a picture of a production plagued by miscommunication, ego, and misplaced priorities.
This was all documented on Rachel's friend's Instagram account, where she filmed herself shouting Rachel's name as it appeared on screen in a near-empty theater. Now, this all started a trend of people filming themselves seeing Snow White in theaters, and in almost every video, the cinema is almost always empty.
Wow, people love me.
At the end of the day, everyone took a hit. Zegler's public image is bruised, Disney's brand credibility even worse, and the film industry at large is now rethinking whether loud reboots with louder messaging are really what audiences want. One thing's for sure, the blame game may have started with Rachel Zegler, but it's clear this disaster had many authors. If you thought the behind-the-scenes drama was explosive, wait until you dive into the PR nightmares that followed. Disney's Snow White reboot didn't just stumble at the box office, it face-planted publicly, thanks in large part to a cascade of unforced errors that played out in real time. What was supposed to be a triumphant reimagining turned into a case study on how not to handle press. And at the center of it all, Rachel Zegler, whose media tour quickly became a cautionary tale for rising stars everywhere. From the jump, Zegler's promotional interviews rubbed audiences the wrong way. Whether it was her icy dismissal of the original Snow White, which she branded as weird and outdated, or her insistence that Prince Charming was irrelevant, her comments didn't just stray from the script, they detonated it. Headlines flew, fan pages erupted, memes were everywhere. What should have been a charming media rollout quickly spiraled into a full-blown PR catastrophe. Meanwhile, Disney's own response only made things worse. The studio remained oddly silent as the backlash swelled, leaving Zegler exposed and floundering in a sea of criticism. When they finally stepped in, it was with carefully worded statements that came off more like damage control than genuine accountability. And let's not forget the failed attempts at course correction. From awkward press junkets to reshoots and even whispered talks of replacing certain scenes, it was clear Disney was scrambling. But by then, the public perception had hardened. The once-anticipated reboot was now tainted with controversy, and no amount of PR polish could undo the mess. All of it left a massive dent, not just in Disney's reputation, but in Rachel Zegler's career trajectory. The PR missteps didn't just damage a film, they exposed the fragile line between modern messaging and fan respect. And for Disney, it was a brutal reminder that no brand, no matter how magical, is immune to the court of public opinion.
So apparently Rachel Zegler is suing Disney Studios for wrongful termination and also discrimination. I literally don't understand what's going on. Rachel just needs to sit down. Like this says, rumor has it, Rachel Zegler might be suing Disney and others for canceling some of her Snow White press tour due to all the controversies. Bro, before the movie even came out, she was talking about how she wants to bring up the woman in this movie and how there's not going to be a prince. And so I understand, like, Disney saying, like, you did so much in this press tour that did not help us in any way and actually negatively affected our movie. So, I mean, honestly, it does kind of make sense.
Just when things couldn't get any messier for Rachel Zegler, enter Gal Gadot, and suddenly, what was already a PR disaster turned into a full-blown Hollywood feud. While both stars shared the spotlight in Snow White, their off-screen chemistry was reportedly anything but magical. In fact, whispers from the set suggest the tension was simmering from the start. It started subtle, side eyes during interviews, awkward red carpet moments, and those telltale signs of discomfort that eagle-eyed fans were quick to catch. But soon, those hints turned into headlines. According to insiders, Gadot, an established A-lister known for her polished image, wasn't exactly thrilled by Zegler's brash media persona. Sources say Gal found Zegler's comments about the original Snow White disrespectful and tone-deaf, especially considering they were promoting a film meant to honor and evolve a Disney legacy. Things really hit a boiling point after a viral clip showed Gadot visibly cringing as Zegler launched into yet another hot take during a press event. Social media lit up with speculation. Was Gal distancing herself? Was this the beginning of a quiet Hollywood Cold War? And then came the final straw, unconfirmed but widely believed. Gadot allegedly lobbied to distance herself from future Snow White marketing. Some say she even requested not to be involved in follow-up press tours. If true, it paints a pretty damning picture of just how fractured things had become between the film's two leading women.
Oh, so no Prince or a different kind of Prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie, right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yeah. It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
The whispers are no longer whispers. Hollywood is speaking loud and clear, and Rachel Zegler might be paying the price. After months of controversy, fan backlash, and that now infamous Snow White box office disaster, the industry appears to be quietly closing its doors. Studio execs, agents, and PR reps are reportedly scrambling behind the scenes, not to fix Rachel's image, but to distance themselves from it. Sources say meetings once lined up for future projects have been mysteriously canceled. There's talk of her being removed from shortlists, and some insiders have hinted that even productions she was previously attached to are now re-evaluating. In a town where momentum is everything, Zegler's trajectory has taken a nosedive, and the consequences aren't just professional, they're personal. Her reputation among colleagues, especially in the PR world, has taken a serious hit. Meanwhile, rival studios are reportedly wary. No one wants the kind of PR baggage Zegler brings right now. And in an era where public perception can make or break a film's success before it even hits theaters, she's become a cautionary tale of how fast the tides can turn. For Zegler, the fallout isn't just one bad movie. It's a brand in crisis, and unless a major rebranding effort is underway, the consequences of this Hollywood freeze-out might not be temporary. The question now isn't just what's next for Rachel Zegler, it's whether there's a comeback story left to write at all. And there you have it, the rise, the fall, and the uncertain future of Rachel Zegler in a Hollywood that's suddenly not so enchanted. From red carpets to box office crashes, one thing is crystal clear. The industry moves fast, and it doesn't wait for anyone to catch up. But now we want to hear from you. Is Rachel getting unfairly treated by the media and studios, or did she dig her own grave with her attitude and choices? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think she deserves a second chance? Would you watch another film starring her? And don't forget to hit that like button if you made it this far, subscribe for more behind-the-scenes drama and celebrity chaos, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a moment when Hollywood loses its mind.